So some of the values that we share as a family is the first one being that we are individualistic. So we have always been that way. Yes, we are proud of each other for accomplishing, things in life, but no one goes out of their way to make sure that you are doing what you need to do, that you're doing what you're supposed to do. You should know what you're supposed to do, and you should do it. So that's something that growing up in my family, we always did. Like, you're supposed to take care of yourself. So do it. Like, do what you need to do. Another thing is that we are proud, but we are modest. So we are proud of ourselves when we accomplish things, when we overcome something, when we do something that we, didn't seem possible. But at the same time, we are modest about it. So we're not going to go and spread it to the whole entire world. Hey, guess what I did? We're not like that. We are going to be proud of ourselves and celebrate, but at the same time, we're not going to go tell everyone on Facebook that we know. Another value that we have is that we have family nights. So this was something, especially after my parents got divorced, that both of them started doing with me and my brother when we were there, is we would have one night out of the week where we would either go out to dinner and then go do something, or we would all make a meal in the kitchen and do something at home. We just had to devote time to spend with one another. And I thought that was great. We don't do it so much anymore just because we're grown and we have super busy schedules, so it doesn't really work out that much. But we still do try and have some family time. It's important. Another thing is that we're hardworking. So that is something I have had instilled in me since I was a child. You need to work hard to get what you want. Like, it's not going to get handed to you. If someone offers to hand it to you, don't accept it, because it's going to feel better in the end when you have worked your butt off and you accomplished it all by yourself. It's going to feel so good. And so that's something that, my parents, they taught us, me and my brother, when we were young, and that's something that I'll be teaching my children when I have them someday. Like, that's just something, that's a great value. The last thing that I'm going to talk about is how my family copes. So we have had challenges come to our family. We've had obstacles. We have had so many things that my family has had to go through over the years. We've always overcame, and we're fine. Like, we keep moving. But that doesn't mean that you don't have coping strategies. So one thing that my family copes, like how they cope, is with positive appraisal. So this means that instead of being totally involved, I know this was something when I decided to go away to college at first. This was something my dad showed me. He wasn't telling me, no, like, that's not gonna work, like, you're not gonna like it, that's gonna be too expensive, how are you gonna get there? He didn't do any of that. Instead, he sat back. So this could be technically passive appraisal too, but it turns into positive. So it's passive at first because he sits back and he doesn't say anything. He's like, sure, okay. And he lets me figure it out on my own. So instead of telling me, getting down my throat, like, no, that's not gonna work, you're not gonna like it, you should not do that, he lets me figure it out on my own if that is something that's going to be possible, or if that's not gonna work. But then it turns into positive appraisal, because eventually it turns into like, yes, like, you figured it out, good job, like, I'm proud of you, that kind of thing. So another strategy that we have is our social support. So we rely on our friends and our other family members to help us, to talk to us, to give us advice, that kind of thing. I feel like this is a common kind of coping mechanism, because you have a support system, and when something happens to you, you fall on them, you lean on them, and they help you through it, whether you notice it at first or if you don't notice it until later. Another mechanism, why do I keep saying that we have, is we sweep things under the rug a lot. So I know this happened a couple years ago, and where instead of, if we have a problem with someone, with something in our own family, instead of actually talking about it, discussing it, getting it off your chest, we just sweep it under the rug. And that is so unhealthy. It's awful. I've called so many family members out on this before. It doesn't matter. That's what they know. That's what they like to do. They feel comfortable. Which, fine. I don't do that. It's awful. It's so bad for you. You're not getting the problem solved. You're just swallowing it. Like, you're just accepting it, and you are mad about it forever. Another thing that we do is we use humor a lot. So maybe not in the moment of things, but, a couple months go by where something had happened, and we joke about it. We try to make fun about it, lighten the mood. It happened, it was awful, but we're fine. We made it through. So now we get to laugh about it. And so I know that is something that my family does a whole lot. It makes us who we are. That's just how my family is. We're wild. Like, that's just ridiculous. So all of these different things come together, and they shape who you are as a person. So that's why I put a picture of me in the middle, is because all of these different factors, they play into my life. They shape who I am. They'll shape who I'm going to be. They're going to have an influence on my children someday. And yeah, so that is my family origin project.